How's it going? My name's Evan. Some of you might know me as Extra Prius Please, and today I'm super excited to show you my work from home office and streaming setup. All of the gear that I go over is going to be linked in the description below, but if there's anything I don't touch on or if you have any further questions, let me know in the comments. I just want to say that this has been a 2-year process for me, changing things, refining things as I go, but I've got it to a spot that I'm really happy with, so that's why we're doing this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. When building out my office, there were 2 key things in mind: creating a space that I was extremely excited to be at each day, and something that was simple yet functional. Now that I'm 100% remote, it was perfect timing to put together a space that I would feel inspired to work at every day. One of the questions I get asked most is what kind of desk are you using and how did you do your cable management? I went with the office desk from Branch in the 60-inch by 30-inch configuration to have ample space for all of my peripherals. I love this desk's overall design and look, especially the cable management system. The topper has a very clean slot where you can feed all of your cables, allowing you to put them into an organizer that screws into the underside of the desk. Each cable has been wrapped in guides and attached to the legs via stickers so they're out of sight. I use a surge protector and box to hide most of this mess. From the right angle, it looks pretty flawless. Moving on to my PC. I won't bore you with every spec of the build, but I do use an NZXT mid-tower case because of the limited space that I have under my desk legs. The NZXT cam is extremely useful for checking all of my temperatures as well as changing RGB from time to time. There's only one downside to this case, and that's the airflow. Luckily, I found a wonderful solution from Jakeface Customs on Etsy. Not only does this panel attach via hidden magnets on the backside, but my temperatures have dropped by 15 degrees Celsius when under full load. Onto my monitor, and yes, I only use one. But I love it because you can use the split screen feature to easily multitask. Because it's 34 inches wide, I needed a very robust stand, so I went with the LX from Ergotron, and I've been more than happy with it. When working, I use this amazing little 4K webcam from OBSBot. Pretty wild how many features this camera has for the price. Now let's talk about arguably one of the hardest pieces of the puzzle, my audio gear. This has been the largest learning curve throughout this entire process. After trying the Shure SM7B and the Sennheiser 416, I found that for my environment, the Sennheiser 50 is the perfect mic for my use case. It's attached to a desk-mounted boom arm from Gatorworks. I love the fact that the XLR cable is fully integrated for a super understated look. So far, this mic has been the most accurate and best at rejecting external noise. Even though this mic is wonderful, sitting in a corner isn't great for recording voice. I purchased these sound panels from Amazon, and I really think that it was the best solution I could have implemented. One of my friends, Morgan, helped me source all of my audio gear, and I quickly realized that your mic is only as good as your interface. I currently use the PreSonus Revelator, and for the money, it's amazing. Setting up multiple channels for streaming was intuitive, and the features on the interface itself are perfect for daily use. For my speakers, I'm using the Genelec 8010A monitors. For the size, I don't think you can find a better looking and sounding speaker. Also, the on-off button is extremely satisfying to press. One of my friends is an incredible potter, and what better way to store my most used keyboard tools than in one of her cups. The last peripheral on my desk is a custom Limo cable from Dispatch. Another question I get asked frequently is why do cables have that connector? Older keyboards tend to use mini USB ports instead of USB-C. This is useful so you don't have to have an extra cable lying around at all times. For my chair, I'm using the Move from Noho. It's extremely comfortable and fits the overall aesthetic of my space. The ergonomic shape helps when leaning back or focusing in on work. As far as storage goes, we're just using the built-in shelving instead of having drawers to help save some space throughout the office. Now onto my streaming gear. For my face and side camera, I use 2 Sony Alpha 6300s with Sigma 30mm lenses. My top-down camera is a Sony Alpha 6400 with a kit lens. This entire video was shot on this camera, apart from this clip here. With my girlfriend's desk right next to mine, I had to get creative with how I set up my cameras and lighting. I use this mini math pole and Manfrotto articulating arm within the window to position my top-down camera. It's very key to look at the specs on these before purchasing to make sure things don't fall into your monitor. I learned this the hard way, but everything ended up being okay. My friend Adam recommended counterweighting the camera, and this was the perfect solution so it stays in place. My face camera is mounted with a simple small rig desk mount. As much as I would love to only use natural light, my monitor positioned in front of the window creates a lot of shadows. To help this, I'm using an Aperture 120D2 with a lantern softbox. Again, I've had to counterweight the C-stand and boom arm with a 25-pound sandbag. Here's how everything looks when it's all put up. I didn't attach all of the cables because it can look like a rat's nest when I'm live. This concludes the details of my setup. I hope this video gives you a sliver of inspiration for your space if you're trying to revamp or even start streaming. If you want to learn more about mechanical keyboards, consider following me on Twitch. If you've made it this far, I just want to thank you for being here. Until next time.